Hello, I'm Marty Wimmer, midday host on WNED Classical. Welcome to another WNED Classical interview. Today it's a double interview. We have two new directors in the Western New York classical music scene. They are David Curtis, the new music director of the Buffalo Choral Arts Society, and Matthew Marco, the new artistic director of Buffalo Opera Unlimited. These gentlemen have a lot in common. First, they're both marvelous musicians, and second, they're both following longtime directors. David Curtis received the Choral Music Educator of the Year Award in 2015 from Buffalo State College. He follows Marcia Jambrone, who just retired as director of Buffalo Choral Arts after some 36 years. Matthew Marco is a clinical assistant professor in the Department of Theater and Dance at the University at Buffalo. He follows Tim Kennedy, who just retired as artistic director of Buffalo Opera Unlimited after some 35 or 36 years. Both of you, I know you're new at your jobs, but at this point, I think you've been in them a few months. What has it been like following legends, people who were there for such a long time? We'll start with you, David.
Well, hi, Marty. Thank you so much for having us both on today. As you stated, my name's David Curtis. I'm the new artistic director of Buffalo Choral Arts Society. Marcia Joan Jambrone has been a figure in Western New York choral music for over 50 years with a vast knowledge of choral music and experience. We have worked together on several different projects over the years, and I really admire her work. Her work with the Buffalo Choral Arts Society is second to none. Under her guidance, my gosh, she was able to provide the group with 36 years of amazing performances in different countries, and is credited to, being inducted in the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. So people in the community and choir members are looking to see what will I bring to the organization, and will I be able to continue the current standard performance. So it's been very stressful, especially with a first concert coming up right around the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. And what about you, Matt? You're in a similar situation following Tim Kennedy, who I think was around 36 years as well. He started Buffalo Opera Unlimited, so I guess there's some pressure on you as well. And what's your experience been like so far?
Absolutely. Thanks, Marty. I actually had the chance to work with Tim, two productions back in 2018 and 2019. So I know Tim pretty well. We've seen each other regularly. The opera world's pretty small in Buffalo. And Tim gave me those first two opportunities, my first real big productions as a conductor. So I owe him a lot professionally. It's not really nearly as intimidating as it seems following in his footsteps, though. I admire what he did with the company, having an opera company that he founded in Buffalo that's been around for so long, that's been healthy for so long. I just admire, and I feel like this is my way to give back and follow in his footsteps, follow his lead. We still talk pretty regularly. He's a great advisor through the process. So it might seem a little intimidating, but it's not really. I just see him as a great advisor to the company.
Yeah. Organizations like both of yours have mission statements and that sort of formal thing. But just in your own words, Matt, who does Buffalo Opera Unlimited serve? Just tell us what it's all about for anyone watching who might not know a lot about the organization.
Sure. So Buffalo Opera Unlimited, and we'll come back to that word unlimited, which is really interesting, but really we're an opera company for Buffalo. The sort of primary focus that we have is the traditional grand opera, like the stereotype that you think of when you hear opera. But one unique thing about us is we use local talent. We don't bring people in from out of town to sing in our productions. It's all local singers, from the largest solo roles down to the smallest chorus roles. They're all local Buffalo singers, some from Rochester, but all Western New York, Northern Pennsylvania. We have a great connection with a lot of the local schools. So we're a local company through and through. But the unlimited part of our name, it's kind of interesting, and I always wondered what that meant, Buffalo Opera Unlimited, but it really gives us the flexibility to branch out beyond opera. So I know in the past the company has done jazz nights. We did a concert of music of African American composers at Rockwell Hall. BOU was on TV during the pandemic doing some sort of opera feature programs, and even a full production. So that gives us the flexibility to go beyond just the traditional experience of what you would expect would be opera, and really do things that we feel would benefit our community, benefit the artists we have working with us, benefit our audiences, just gives us some freedom that larger companies may not have.
Right. Sounds very interesting. Now, David, same question for you. Now, I know Buffalo Choral Arts is an enormous ensemble. I think it has over 100 voices, right? Tell us a little about your mission and who you serve and what you're all about.
So Buffalo Choral Arts, we're about 140 voice choir, wow. Which is very large for a community choir. Our mission is primarily to enrich the community with choral music. All different styles of choral music, whether it's classical, contemporary, Broadway pop, some jazz, anything that fits whatever the concert idea is. So it's really to enrich the people of the community, allow people in the community a quality ensemble to sing in, and provide quality performances for the community.
You must have all sorts of abilities within the group, people who are well trained in music, people who don't have much training at all, and everything in between. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. We have people who have music degrees. We have people who are retired musicians, retired music teachers. We have people who are doctors, lawyers, people who work in, construction. It's a whole gamut of people with all kinds of different backgrounds musically. Some just sing in church choirs.
Right.
Some sang in their high school choirs in college, and they're back. So it's a big mix.
Yeah, that sounds great. I actually have some friends in the group, and they always speak so well of it, enjoy it so much. So this question is for both of you. You can sort of let it spit around in your head for a minute. But now that you've taken the helms of your various organizations, and you, of course, want to keep in mind the past and tradition, but as you look ahead to the future, both of you, do you have a vision for the next 2-3 years, like where you'd like to take your groups? We'll start with you, David.
Yeah. So the executive board and myself just had a meeting regarding our 5-year plan. And that was one of the things when they were interviewing for this position. What was my vision for the course and where we'd like to take it? Choral music has been around for hundreds of years. And, the styles are constantly revolving and changing like that. I would like to bring, the choral art up into more of a contemporary realm for that. I would like to keep, the concert formats. We're still going to do the classical music. We're going to do major works. We're still going to do, quality performances, but we need to bring it up into a modern day flair, as I would call it. So I intend to keep the 4 concert programs, but the uniqueness about this is our first and our last concert will be music that people will recognize. It'll be music that is on the lighter side, that's family friendly, that you can bring anybody can see, and you don't have to have an understanding of Bach or Mozart or the classical realm to enjoy these concerts. Right. So a lot of it is choral repertoire that people would recognize the music for. The one slight difference for that would be our Christmas concert will still be traditional Christmas. Christmas is Christmas, and I'm not going to touch that.
You're probably well advised to not play with that.
So Christmas is going to be traditional Christmas music with a theme attached to that. Christmas, obviously, and then our third concert is always going to be a major work. We have to stay true to our choral heritage, and it will always be with an orchestra. So it's going to be a major work.
I know a lot about Buffalo Opera Unlimited because I serve on the board, and so I take care of a lot of administrative issues. I'm not on the artistic side of things, but I can tell that in Matt's case, a lot of what David said is actually similar to your situation as well. You have to pay attention to tradition, and I know that the Buffalo Opera Unlimited launches those traditional operas like Carmen and La Boheme, but you also do some things that people have not heard of, and you kind of go out on a limb every once in a while too. So tell me about your vision for the next few years.
Yeah, absolutely. So opera audiences, they come to expect things like La Boheme, which will be performing in December. More about that in a couple minutes, I'm sure. The sort of war horses of the opera repertoire. Um, Two of my goals to get us out into the community and developing, cultivating our new audience. One that I'm actually really excited about next season will be developing a in-school education program. So we'll develop these lesson plans, send them out to school teachers ahead of time, um, so they can teach their kids about this opera that we'll be performing, about the genre as a whole, about careers in music potentially. And then the culmination of this unit for them will be BOU artists and myself coming in and actually giving a performance of an opera that's been written for children. Um, so some of our goals in this, obviously, develop our younger audiences, show them that opera can be accessible, it can be exciting, but this also helps us develop our younger performers. So we can use students that are currently studying music in college, give them these performance opportunities, give them the outreach opportunities. Half of performing, probably even more than half of performing nowadays, is advocating for your art form. So this gives college students a great opportunity to do that. The second thing I'd really like to see us do at BOU is partner with community organizations to give more meaning to works. Certainly, as I mentioned before, everyone has their favorite opera that was written back in the 1800s, but there are a lot of operas being written today that really speak to what's going on in the world, what's happening in our time. And BOU is in a great position to present these works in partnership with a social organization. So beyond just drawing attention to a social issue through presenting the work, we can give our audience tools to learn more about the issue, how they might become involved in helping the issue, sort of going from just a performance, a static, watching something on stage, to making it active and making the community better through presenting our work. So that's two of the goals. Certainly respecting the Warhorse titles. We'll always perform those. That be a major feature of our season. But I think we can do more beyond just performing, make the community a better place.
Sounds great. Now, you sort of segued perfectly for me, so thank you for that, Matt, because my next question is sort of the $64,000 question here. Is there any possibility of collaboration between your two organizations in any way down the road?
I could definitely see this based on what Matt just said with his vision. One of the things that I've always wanted to do, but never had, enough time or a large enough choir to do this, would be a full concert presentation of a music. Les Mis is probably one of the best examples. Buffalo Choral Arts could provide all the choral background, and then you have your other your leads semi-act that out, not stage it, but act it out in front with a full orchestra. That would be a great collaboration there.
Ooh, that's
and you can
really
name a musical. You could probably do that.
Yeah. I've seen those staged performances of not staged, but concert performances of shows, and they really work quite well. What do you have to say about that, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Similar thoughts to what David's saying. We have a smaller performance space in Rockwell Hall at Buffalo State University. So a lot of times with our shows, we're limited to how many people we can put on stage. But if we did a concert production or something in a unique venue, it would be great to partner with an organization that has a large chorus already to go. And it sort of opens up to a much more diverse repertoire that we could present with a chorus sort of already in place. So
right.
Well, if it happens, I want to say that I had something to do with it. and if it doesn't happen, well, we can just forget we talked about it. But I think it's really I think it's great that this possibility of something like that is there. You both have events coming up. Let's see. I think David, yours is first. It's coming up really soon, right?
Yes, it is this Saturday.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So we have 4 concert seasons planned this year. The first one is called The Heart of the American Soldier. Now, this concert was prepared based on my gratitude for our servicemen and women who work daily to protect our country and their freedoms. When I was preparing for this concert, I came across a picture of a little boy being handed a folded flag during his father's funeral. And it was at that moment that I realized that, wow, our servicemen and women sacrifice every day, but so do their families, with loss of loved ones and all kinds of other things. So I wanted to put together a concert that told a story. This is what I was kind of leading to in my vision. It's going to tell the story of what is the heart of an American soldier? What makes them tick? And what do they do for us, and how does that work? So we're going to address things like their struggles and their sacrifices of every day. And to bring it into the contemporary world, we've partnered with a couple local VFWs, to request pictures of photographs of current servicemen, past servicemen, fallen servicemen and women, and there'll be a slideshow which will honor them. It'll state their name, their rank, when they served, where they served, if they died in service or not. And as that video is being shown, the choir is going to play, and we do have a brass quintet and some other instruments, The Call of Champions by John Williams, which is a great piece. It speaks to that. So ultimately that's going to tell the story. So we're going to look at every aspect of what a serviceman goes through for this, for us.
When, where, how can people get tickets, that sort of thing?
So it's this Saturday at 7 o'clock at St. Francis of Assisi Church in Tonawanda at 7 p.m. You can buy tickets online at buffalochoralots.org, or you can buy them in person. They're $20.
Right. And it's this Saturday, October 14th, right?
Right. Okay. This Saturday.
Very good.
Yeah. So ultimately, this first concert is to honor our servicemen, thanking them for their service and welcoming them home.
And what's the title or the name of the program?
Heart of the American Soldier.
Okay. All right. Very good. And it's October 14th. So folks can look for that. And then Matt, what's up next for Buffalo Opera Unlimited?
Sure. So we're heading towards our December 1st and 3rd performances of Puccini's La Bohème, which will take place at Buffalo State University, Rockwell Hall, right on Elmwood Avenue there. Tickets are $35 for adults. We do have student tickets available too for a lower rate. Those can be purchased on our website, buffalooperaunlimited.org. And then some events coming up in the spring that we'll hope to be announcing very shortly, sort of speaking to my goals of getting us out into the community and opera for good. I think these next couple performances will really speak to that. But
Great.
La Bohème is our first thing, December 1st and 3rd at Buffalo State. 1st
and 3rd, okay, at Buff State. And people can find tickets for that online at buffalooperaunlimited.org. Is that the address?
Yeah, they're on our website. There's click 2023 events. I think you can get them through the Buffalo State Rockwell Hall box office too. I think they're
very good. And La Bohème is one of those big war horses. Everyone loves La Bohème. It's
everyone's heard it, whether they realize it or not. So
right. It wasn't there a
maybe
music?
Haven't heard it. Stop by, you probably.
Yeah. Right. Wasn't there a musical that came like Rent or something that was sort of inspired by the music of the opera La Bohème?
Absolutely. So Rent took the story, modernized it, but actually uses a couple musical quotes from the opera.
Right. So if you like Rent, you'd probably like La Bohème and vice versa, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this is great. Now, guys, is there anything that you wanted to say while you were here that I didn't get to? David, anything you want to share, or any final thoughts before we say so long?
Sure.
Yeah.
Anybody who's interested in joining Buffalo Choral Arts, it's open enrollment, meaning that you do have to. There is a small audition for that, but just go to our website, buffalochoralots.org, and under the About tab, click Become a Member, and all the information is there. We hold auditions throughout the entire year, so just because you aren't involved right now doesn't mean you can't join for our Christmas or our major work in March or our final concert in June.
Sounds great. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, two things I'll add. So for our performances of La Boheme, we project the English translations above the stage. So if you don't speak Italian, that's okay. I know
Good
some
idea.
people don't even read the translations. They just sort of try to figure out what's going on based on what's happening on stage. Our singers try to make that pretty clear. But you can read along with the translations. You don't have to speak Italian. And if you are interested in performing in one of our operas, we hold auditions a couple times throughout the year. Whether you're interested in just a small chorus role or a large principal role, you can audition for us at one of those audition days. And we'd also love to have volunteers. So if you're a seamstress and you're interested in helping with costumes or helping us find props, anything like that behind the scenes, we certainly welcome volunteers. So visit us on our website, get in touch, and we'd love to have you be a part of Buffalo Opera Unlimited.
You know, in all the years I've worked here at WNED Classical, and I've been involved in, you know, so many different types of musical ensembles over the years. I say this as a Buffalo booster, but it's a reality. We are so fortunate in a city our size and an area our size to have the number of and the quality of groups that we have. And both your groups just are amazing to me. They've been around for a long time and produced so much good music and survived the pandemic, and we're still here. And, you know, so congratulations to both of you on your new positions. We've been speaking with David Curtis, who is the new artistic director of Buffalo Choral Arts, and Matt Marco, who's the new artistic director of Buffalo Opera Unlimited, both following longtime legendary musicians in town who led their organizations for more than 35 years. So tough acts to follow, but it sounds like you've got a lot of support from both your predecessors and from your organizations. And it looks like the sky is the limit for you guys in the next few years. So thank you for spending time with us today at WNED Classical Interviews. We're just great you were able to do this today. I'm Marty Wimmer. On behalf of everyone at Buffalo Toronto Public Media and WNED Classical, thank you, David Curtis, and thank you, Matt Marco. And we look forward to talking to you maybe again next year to find out how things are going. How's that?
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.